Good morning. Just as the few Torahs that we've been learning the last few days, Torah Tzadik Gimel 93 tells us another equation that you would never think. He tells us by doing business faithfully, honestly, you rise to a level above time. Now, above time is a good place, because when you're above time, well, gravity has less effect. The things of this world have less impact. The unpleasantness that we find in the world of nature, the world of dog eat dog, if you will, the world of competition, the world of warfare, they all are diminished when you start to rise above time. And there's many levels above time too. But the first level, of course, is to leave the things of this world where they belong. As they say, tachat hashemesh, under the sun, in the physical realm. But when we talk about doing business faithfully and honestly, you're rising above nature. Because nature doesn't really, check the Torah before the lion eats the lamb. Or the shark, takes what it wants. Lots of sharks out there. And they don't usually check the manual, what we should or shouldn't do, or take or not take, or eat or not eat. That's nature. But above nature means I have a consultant from a higher level, which is the Torah, which tells us to do business faithfully. And so he's telling us here in the last paragraph of 93 that the Maso Matam Be'emunah, right, faithful business. The Gemara says about this person who is faithful, Yisrael asher b'chait pa'er, the Jew that God is glorified and beautified. In other words, if you're a father and your child does wonderful things, especially for others, and conducts himself in a way that makes the father proud of the child, the father feels beautified. The father feels a light, a shine from his child. Wow, look what I created. A child that keeps these laws, that is faithful to highest principles in business, that beautifies God. And we've already learned that also makes other people say, wow, who created him? What laws does he live by that makes him this straight and honest? That also beautifies the Father. The Yisrael hu b'makshava, and that's Yisrael that keeps the Torah. And Yisrael that keeps the Torah was what God thought of in the beginning when he wanted to create man. See, when you create something, you don't think about creating the second best or something mediocre. When you create something, especially something as complex as a human being, you don't think, I can make Sug bet, I can make the second, the knockoffs first. No, you think of the best thing that you can make. And it says in Israel Sherba Machshava Techila that the Jewish people were in God's thought because he was trying to create a perfected race. Not that the Jews are better, they had a higher standard to fulfill. But that's what God's intention was in the beginning. Not to create something mediocre that might keep the Torah, might not keep the Torah, might go against his father sometimes and sometimes with. And our sages talk about this. Yisrael alav makshava, the Jews went up, arose in God's thought. First, we're coming from God's thought. Our souls are not physical things. The essence is made from the drop of thought itself. See, when God thinks something, it happens. When he says something, it happens. When he sings, it creates angels. So anything that Hashem does is automatically manifest in the physical world. And by the way, that's where human beings also get the power to manifest. And thought is above time. Since thought is above time, see, in Kabbalah, from the shoulders down, time begins. In the structure of the tree of life, above time is above the shoulders. Below the shoulders is where time starts to happen. And how do you know this? Well, think about this. If you had a thought when you were 13 and you had that thought today, it would be the same thought. You wrote down something in your diary, you went and read it, you said, wow, that was a pretty good thought for a 13-year-old. So that's why it's important to write a journal, because you might surprise yourself. But if I said, what were you feeling when you were 13? Feeling members from the below the shoulders and the heart. What were you feeling when you were 13? You might say, oh, no, I was feeling sad. I was going through puberty. It wasn't so nice. Those feelings are going to be very, very difficult to conjure because they're not there anymore. However, thought is still there. The thoughts that you had will live forever because they come from above time. The feelings we have, since they emerge from time within our emotional reality, the emotional reality changes all the time. Emotion, right? It's always in motion. You're feeling up, you're feeling down, you're feeling in between. So that shows us that thought is above time. And since we were in God's thought, that we're from above time. Now, these are somewhat slippery thoughts. You got to take a hold of them and meditate on them, and you'll see that it's true in your life and in the world around you. Also, when we do business faithfully, you can pray with a pure heart, a pure mind. Why? Because when you do business faithfully, you don't start to feel the kind of feelings you get when you're trying to work somebody over. And if you feel that somebody's trying to work you over, it's time to step out of the relationship and re-examine. But when a person does business faithfully, his mind is pure, is clean, is straight. This is the deal. This is the item. This is what it costs. This is what I'm willing to pay or receive. You go straight with your thought. And you're not always trying to get the advantage on somebody. You want the heavenly price. The heavenly price is what the thing is truly worth in the eyes of the one who knows. Ki tefillah, because he also tells us now, prayer is also above time, because prayer is from your mouth, first of all, and the intentionality of your mind, your steering wheel of your prayer is your mind. You direct your prayer, and it's always going above time, and it's from above time because it's coming from thought. And therefore, if your business is straight and your mind is clear, then your prayer is going to be clear, and it's going to be easier to pray. Because prayer itself stands in the heights of the world. Where else do you see a creature that communicates two-way with God? And also because of this, you can come to true love. Because you see, when you do business faithfully, your heart is at ease. And when the heart is at ease, the heart can feel love. Love for others, love for self, love for God, love for Torah, love for your home, for your family, for your land. Love for all the real things in this world. Because the heart is clean. The heart is not under stress. And the heart is not suspect of itself lying and falsifying and all those things. And from this power, and then you come to this, all of this brings you to expanded consciousness. That you're not really a being trapped in this world anymore. You're a being visiting this world. And you will leave this world. And you will, with God's help, go to a better place above time. And that's expanded consciousness. Now, that's like being in heaven and looking down at earth and seeing the world the way God sees the world. Hearing people talk the way Hashem hears the way people talk. The truth, the untruth, the somewhat true. And then a person can pray also. From that expanded consciousness, you pray pure. Which ultimately, you know what that means? That means you can pray to God to send you his prayer. And then when you pray God's prayer, how he's not going to answer you, it's his prayer. So pray for God's prayer. And when you do that, you become part of his intentionality, his purpose, his reality, and meaningfulness. And so these things of this world, all the things that cause us to suffer every day, they're dampened and diminished because you're not really from here. And you're coming from where you really come from, which is the thought, the desire, and the purity of the mind of the Creator. So pray for God's prayer, and all your prayers will become something else. And then, well, you step into Shabbat, the world to come. You step into the 1,000 years of peace. You've heard about that phrase before. Well, you can imagine if everybody was operating at this level, how peaceful this planet might be. The lions and tigers and bears and sharks might set down their weapons and say, let's go join the party. Let's join the celebration of being human and not worry about the war against all the inhumanity. Pray for prayer, God's prayer. God bless you. Shabbat Shalom.